Not all readings will resonate with every member of the collective. Remember that only take what applies to you. So what we have here is Ansuz and Merc Stave, followed by Now This upright and Kanaz upright. What this tells me is that this connection has undergone a situation where the people involved are not speaking to one another, and as a result, they are being inspired during this period in which they are not communicating. Inspired, and in the sense that their problems are being illuminated within each individual, and as a result, they are starting to see things from a different perspective. They are seeing, envisioning a way forward with one another. Now this is about necessity, obtaining needs as a result of conflict, drought, necessity around them, resources being skewed, resources being scattered, resources being null and void, having to fight for something. See the two sticks struggling to create a spark, warmth, needing fire, needing to cook, needing light, okay? But also in certain belief systems pertaining to Norse mythology, now this could also suggest a new partnership. So we have people who are not speaking. They don't know how they feel about one another. And during this period of trying and yearning, they start seeing a way forward. Now, if you are in a situation where you are involved with somebody who is definitely giving you red flags and they're like, I don't want nothing to do with you and I'm going out of my way to show you, then this reading does not apply to you. However, let's see if this reading does apply to you, because also this might suggest that this connection also has to do with provision and sustenance. So a couple that learns to work together, learns to finally communicate so that they can achieve sustenance and obtain resources together. So it's not just a romantic connection, but it's one based on obtaining resources. Okay, so we have the Alder, the Trailblazer, and we have Ash, the Enchanter, and we have the Snake. So what does this tell me about this person? Well, firstly, the person that this reading pertains to is a trailblazer. They like to go off on their own. They can be impatient at times. They like to seek out friendships. They like to seek out good company, but sometimes they can isolate themselves. Sometimes they can isolate themselves too much that they miss out on milestone relationships because they're too busy fluttering about. Ash, the Enchanter, in combination with the Snake, they kind of go hand in hand. This person's clairvoyant. They're very intelligent, but sometimes they could be afraid and they withdraw, which would explain why Ansuz was in reverse. Okay, so I highly suggest that you click on the link below in order to hear the full reading. So what do we have here? Somebody in the collective that tends to go through rebirths, renewals. They transform themselves regularly. They're constantly reflecting on themselves. They seem cool on the surface, but there's a lot more going on. And when they do withdraw, it's almost like they're doing it in order to gain more insight and wisdom. And again, we see that here with the withdrawal of communication and needs and necessities motivating them to obtain the wisdom to move forward in their life. Okay, so this is the person that we're dealing with. They can flutter off sometimes and get too encompassed in fantasy and illusion, and they detach from what's going on. They are adventurous. They like to go off on their own. And although they're friendly and outgoing, they also withdraw. Okay? So we've got clairvoyance here. Now, what's going on in this connection? Firstly, we've got the High Priest in this connection, and he's kind of setting the tone for this entire situation here. The High Priest harnesses the energy of the god and of the sun. And in neo-pagan belief systems, you have the god and the goddess, the sun and the moon, male and female energies working together in the universe in a celestial format in order to create everything that's going on around us. They merge together in order to forge the energies necessary that leads to all creation. So you have the High Priest in this reading that is a strong male energy, which suggests to me that the masculine energy in this reading is really pushing to bring about organization, cohesion, structure and some discipline to this connection. He is the one who's going to kind of initiate here. The high priest is a teacher. He is a mentor. He is concerned with passing energy, instruction, information, ritual practices, teachings to the community. He's concerned with generational knowledge. He's concerned with absorbing the energy of the god and passing it on to the community in such a way that he can bring protection and security. He doesn't believe in people acting out individually. He believes in people working together in a community. There being rules and understanding codes of behavior so that nobody is reckless with the future safety, longevity, security, and ethical and moral behaviors of anyone else in the community. He's really concerned about everyone that belongs to the community. So we have this person pushing this, okay? And it seems a little bit controlling, and nobody likes a patriarch, but masculine and feminine energies all have their own purpose. This is followed by the Ten of Pentacles. And the Ten of Pentacles in one of my favorite decks, the Greenwich Tarot Companion. The author, Anne Moira, M-O-U-R-A. This card, the Ten of Pentacles, is usually pertaining to somebody who obtains their wealth in middle age. They have worked for it. They have been disciplined. They have managed their finances a certain way. They have applied themselves in such a manner that they bring about wealth for all people in their life that they are concerned about. As you notice, we have a mature gentleman, and he is supporting the forward movement of his family. There's his kids, and there's his grandchild, okay? So not only that, but this also could have to do with purchasing property, looking for new property, passing property down, passing generational wealth down. This is about organization and community, okay? So we have the high priest, a male figure, and then we have property, okay? Then that's followed by the Six of Pentacles. This is about reciprocity, exchanging, assisting, helping, passing things, sharing things, give and take, okay? Here's a guy who's saying we need to work together and for the purpose of the community. We have to work together and bring structure, okay? And then we have the Lady and the Lord. Again, we have the goddess representation and all three. She represents all three lunar phases of the moon. The maiden, the maid, and the crone. I believe it's the maiden, the maid, and the crone. Okay, there are the maiden, the mother, and the crone. And then we have the god here. I think he is Cernunnos, what have you, but he's representing the god. So we have moon energy, we have sun energy here, working in unison together. This is a relationship. This is a love relationship. This is a bond. This is a partnership. This is the foundation of the structure. Without them, the community does not work. Reciprocity does not work. They are combining their efforts. We have the Two of Wands. We have the High Priestess. And we have the Two of Athames. Okay, so what's happening here? Not only do we have the Lord and the Lady, the High Priest, but we also have the High Priestess in this. And you notice she also represents all three phases of the lunar moon, okay? The maiden, the mother, and the crone. All three phases of the moon here. So we have a female energy in the collective that encompasses all of the energy of the moon in all of its phases. The nurturing aspects, the coming into woman aspects, the learning, the applying, and the wisdom. All within one reading in combination with the strength of the male. This is, the High Priestess is all about finding, she's usually looking for an apprentice of some kind, somebody to assist her. So the first thing that I learn about this, we have the Two of Athames, we've got the Two of Wands, and we've got the Lord and the Lady. So there's all of this underlying consensus that there is a partnership working together, having to make plans to work together, having to overcome disputes. So needing structure, needing organization, but at the same time depending on intuition, depending on clairvoyance in order to make things work. And this is what is so important about this connection here. That the original person we spoke about was represented by the snake energy and the ash energy. And when the snake energy and ash energy are combined, it's about somebody who is clairvoyant, very intelligent, very healing, but tends to withdraw. And then all of a sudden the reading leads with the high priest. So what I'm gathering is that the female in this equation is the one that this reading is about. This is the energy that has withdrawn from this connection because they're afraid of this connection. They're afraid of the work. They are a lone wolf. They usually wander and do things on their own. And all of a sudden, their strong male counterpart comes in and says, no, 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 we're not doing this on your own anymore. We're not doing this on our own. There is no room for you to make decisions on your own and me to make decisions on my own. We make these decisions together as a couple. We both have strengths. He wants to balance out the energies between the two of you. He wants to bring his strengths to the table and your strengths as a female to the table if you are a female watching this. If you are a male, this is the situation you're in, and this is the female that you are dealing with. She is highly intuitive. She is highly healing. She wants to give to her community. She wants to heal her community. She wants to teach her community. She has spiritual gifts just as much as you do, which also helps me. It helps enlighten the idea that both partners have a clairvoyant connection. There is idiosyncrasies involved in this connection, and these people, at least the females, explaining these synchronicities away. She's been through stuff in her past, in her travels, because she's a traveler. She likes to wander, where she has thought she's had connections. She can be friendly with many people. She likes companionship, but she withdraws. And she has learned time and time again that she has thought that there was a connection or a spiritual connection or a soulmate situation, and it didn't work out for her. So for her, she's really fearful. And that's why this male is kind of taking charge and teaching her a new way to love and care. He's teaching her a new way to settle differences. See, with the two of the Athames, there's all this abundance in the background, but there is also this necessity to work together so that they can see a way forward. And up until recently, there has been no communication. But the high priest, this male energy, is taking charge because he wants a stable future. And he wants both himself and the female to work together. There is still a lot of building. There is still some entrepreneurial things that must be worked on so that they can have all of the things that they want for themselves and the people that they care about, or at least the people that are associated with them, because their connection could set a foundation for many people in their future. So that's pretty much the reading for this connection.